Now let's explore how this element is working. Let's see again the behavior at the end. It's just a cursor that shows the behavior of my mouse. Every time that I scroll, you can see that the little line in the middle of the two buttons also change in the direction that I'm moving my scroll. If I go to the left, the mouse is going to animate the moving to the left, and it also depends how far and heavy and fast I'm going. If I move a little bit, it's not going to change so fast, but if I move to the sides really fast and hard, it's going to be more evident the animation. And also every time that I click, it's going to highlight every button. So let's explore this element. And I want to use this example to show how is the way that we need to think and conceptualize our solutions. For example, in this specific case, my need is to record my screen, show an actual interaction with the software, and also put this little element that it's showing the behavior of my mouse on top of the screen that I'm using. So in this case, the solution that I found is that I need to use two different projects of Touchdesigner. One project is making all the tracking of my mouse and the animation and the creation of the content in real time of the mouse tracker. And the second project is this one that you are seeing here that I'm using as a regular project to make my class, no? But at the end, I'm dealing with different signals to can record this content and use both of the elements that I'm getting now. One is the record screen of this Touchdesigner project, and the other one is the record that you are seeing in this moment that was recorded in real time. And the animation of this mouse that you are seeing here next to my cursor, it was also made and recorded in real time while I was doing all of this. So now I'm going to bring from my second screen the other project, because in this case, if I want to use those two projects, I need at least two screens. In one, I can make the changes for the project that is showing the mouse behavior, and the second screen, or in this case the main screen, is this one that you are seeing here where I have this project. But now I'm going to bring the project here, and you will see a loop because it's being recorded the same screen. So I'm just going to turn off this, and that's it. Okay, so I have two projects here. This one that it was the last video, and here is the project that I'm using to record the video, to get the microphone information, and to make the video out with this movie file out. That actually is the way that we're going to record any content that we have in the top family. So as you can see, this information here is this screen, and if I get too close, I'm going to get this loop here. Now I'm going to see how is this element working. So let's navigate, and we will do it in Inverse Engineer, and I will see that the last operator that I have is an out, and we also know that the outs, what it really makes is this kind of connections, these doors or gates, and before that we have this over, that what it's making is in this case is getting the screen grab. The screen grab is an operator that we use to get the screen information. In this case is like a screen capture operator. And the another element that it's connected to the same operator is the mouse. So we have two different parts of the content. One is the record or the capture of the screen, and the second is the mouse. And when we put it together with this over, is like the same thing that we do when we are using Touchdesigner or Illustrator with layers. This over is like a layer. In the bottom, in the second connection, we put the content that is going back, and in the first connection we put the content that is going in the front. And after that we can see that the first element that it's connected to the over, I mean the content that is in the front, it's a container. So that means that inside it's a process. I can go inside, and again I will find an out that it's the creator of this gate, and I will see that here the content has a transparency, the opacity in the back. Let's make this thing real. That what it really means is that two layers, one with all the opacity and the another with no opacity in the background. So when I put it together, I can make this kind of arrangement with different layers. And before that, I can see that there is another container with another process, and actually what is happening here is that I can use this element to communicate with another system through the NDI out, but this process here is not changing the signal. What it's really doing is sending the same content to another project. And before that, we found that there is getting inside an over in the same way that we were using it before as a layer creator. So in this case, over, it's merging the constant canvas that at the end is just a constant. When we talk about constants, are just like a canvas, for example, or an image with a specific height and width of pixels, but that's it, are just pixels. And in this case we have a grid of pixels of 1280 pixels with 7 and 20 pixels height, and that makes this thing an empty transparent pixel grid. And on top of that we are putting the mouse. So let's see what is happening here, this container. I'm also getting the information of the keys that I'm pressing. For example, let's see what is happening here. Every time that I click Alt, for example, you will see here Alt plus U, but I use the U, so the container goes up. So Alt plus C, for example, or Control C. In this container we are making that behavior. All this network here is getting the information from a keyboard, and at the end is putting all the information as a pixel here next to my mouse. Control and zip. And I can see that there is also another element that is getting inside before, and it's my actual mouse graph. So let's see what's happening here. I have arrow, and I have my mouse here independent, and I'm again using an over to put it together Before that, I can see that my mouse, it was a little bit taller. And before that, I can see that we also have two different parts here, the mouse without the red circle in the background, and all that information is getting inside, is getting from out of this container. And here I will find my element in more detail. So at the end, here is the mouse without the arrow, without the animation, without the letters. And if I see what it's that, I'm again using an over as a layer creator, and in the back is just the gray background, and in the top we have an alpha opacity in the zero alpha opacity in the background, and we have the different three bottoms behaviors. Every time that I scroll, this is going to change. Every time that I click, this is going to highlight. And again, I'm using an over. Before that, we have this without the lines. So we have three areas. Here we are putting the lines. Here we have just the highlights. And I'm using a component that in this case is like a merge for texture operators. So it's a multiple a multiple connector operator, and in this way I'm using this operator to integrate the behavior of every bottom. So there are three different parts: the scroll, the left bottom, and the right bottom, and all of them has the same exact dimensions, 200 for 330, and in that way when I put it together I will not have any issue with the size because all of them are the same size. And before that we can see that we have all the elements, and what we are doing is the same thing that we did with in the last video. We just simply a parameter, in this case is opacity, and in this case every time that I click my mouse I'm getting this information here. If I click right, I will get 1 or 0, and if I click left or right, again I will get a different channel. If I move my scroll, I will change this channel here that it's called wheel, and if I move my mouse in the y-axis or in the x-axis, is going to change the specific channel. So in this way I just need the behavior of the left and right, and every time that I change left or right, this parameter here is going to change. So if I click, this is 1 now. Here if I click, but in this case right, this is 1 now. And in the same way I'm animating all the wheel here in this container. So just based on this number, this little element is changing the movement from up to down. And after that I use the same component to make this little element that will become component of this operator here. And this is a pretty simple project, but it shows the capability of our system with different resources getting inside our system, like our mouse information, our keyboard information, audio, and also we are making content with everything that we are recording for this course. So now we are going to do our first exercise in class. So it's really important that you see this before the class, and we will be covering a complete project, our first project in our video call session. So see you there. Thank you very much.